Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Student, we continue our topic of domain and range. Here is a radical expression. As I told you in earlier lecture, for radical expression, the value inside radical should be greater than or equal to 0. Should be greater than or equal to 0. We can split it by using formula, and we can write it as x minus 2 and x plus 2. So here you can see that we choose those values from this number line for which this condition is satisfied. That is, the final answer should be either greater than or equal to 0. Like if I choose x is equal to minus 2, what will be the result? Minus 2 minus 2 minus 2 plus 2. The result is 0, which is acceptable as condition is both equal and greater than or equal to. Condition are acceptable. If we choose x is equal to minus 3, then the result will be minus 3 minus 2 minus 3 plus 2. The result will be 5. Condition is verified. It means you can choose any value from minus 2 and below minus 2, you will get the positive result. For this interval, your value minus 2 on towards left side, you will get positive value. And similarly, if we put x is equal to plus 2, you can check it yourself, plus 3, from this side to this side, you will get positive values. But if we choose negative value, like you can say minus 1, what will be the result? Minus 1, minus 2, minus 1, plus 2, minus 3, 1, minus 3 can't be greater than 0. So you can see for minus 1, 0 and 1, you will get the condition is not fulfilled, and you can see you get the negative value. So we'll exclude this portion. So our domain will be, according to this condition, our domain will be domain of gx will be minus infinity to minus 2 union plus 2 to plus infinity. That is our domain. And what will be our range? So you can see, as it is a radical function, so there is no chance to get the negative value as output, because we have excluded such domain which give the negative value. So our value always will be positive value, and that is, you can put minus 2 in this expression, minus 2 4 minus 4 0, and you can put plus 2, you can put below minus 2 values or above plus 2 values, you will get the values greater than 0. So your range will be 0 and plus 2. So the important point is this question is that make sure whenever you are dealing with radical expression, the radicand should be greater than or equal to 0. So hope you will understand it well. Now question number 3, part 1, exercise 1.2. Again you can see it is a radical function. So we choose such domains for which radicand is greater than or equal to 0. Here you can choose any value that is greater than or equal to minus 2. So if you move towards right side, you can choose any value. Minus 2 is included, and you will get the positive answer or positive range. So our domain of this function will be minus 2 to plus infinity. And what will be our range for this expression? So there is no chance of getting negative value inside radicand. So it is clear that our range will be positive. And what will be its value? So if you put minus 2, you will get minus 2 plus 2 equal to 0. So the minimum value of the range will be 0 to plus infinity. In exercise 1.2, there is another question beside calculating domain and range, that find the domain and range of inverse function without finding inverse. So you have to do just interchange the domain and range. When you interchange the domain and range, you will get the domain and range of inverse function. Like that, the domain of inverse function will be 0 to plus infinity, and range of inverse of function will be minus 2 to plus infinity. So in order to find the inverse of the function, what you have to do, you just change domain and range, and you will get the inverse of domain and range of inverse function. Just interchange the values. Question number 3, second part, exercise 1.2. Now in this question you can see it is a rational function. In rational function you have denominator, and as I told you in first lecture, whenever you finding domain and range, keep in mind you can't choose such domains for which denominator becomes 0. For example, if we put here 4, what will be the result? 4 minus 1 over 4 minus 4, 3 by 0, that is infinity. The function will be undefined for domain 4. So we avoid such values for which our denominator becomes 0. Other than 4, you can put any value from this side, no problem, and from this side. You can put any value from left and right side of 4. But if you put 4 here, the denominator becomes 0. That is against the definition of function. The function must be defined in order to find the domain and range. So here what will we do? That we ignore plus 4 and accept plus 4. All real numbers are acceptable as domain. So domain of this function will be all real numbers except plus 4. Now what will be the range of this function? So for range you have to do little bit of working here. We can take it as y is equal to x minus 4 over x minus 1 over x minus 4. After simplification we convert it in terms of y in order to find its range. For clarity, xy minus x minus 1 plus 4y, finally your x equal to y minus 1 over minus 1 plus 4y. Here you can see in final result there is denominator involved, so you can't choose value of y, that is your range. In that case, that is your range. You can't choose any y for which the denominator becomes 0, and it means y can't be equal to plus 1. Y can't be equal to plus 1. Other than plus 1 you can put any value. So what will be your range for this function? The range of the function will be all real numbers except plus 1, because there is no possibility to get range as plus 1, as I show you in this working process. You can see it yourself that what is the process? We just convert the function in terms of y, and similar definition apply on this new function, that is the y can't get such values for which denominator becomes 0. So here for plus 1 denominator is 0, so we avoid plus 1. Other than plus 1 you can have any real number value as range. So, and what you have to do next in 1.2 exercise, you have been asked to find inverse domain and range of inverse function without finding inverse. So as I told you in previous question, what you have to do, you just interchange the domain and range. So domain of inverse function will be all real number except plus 1, and range of inverse function will be all real number except plus 4. Now there is another question, question 7, part 7 of exercise 1.1. You can see in this question there is a denominator x plus 1, so you see it is a rational function, and as I told you in previous question, avoid such values for which denominator becomes 0. And you can see if you put here minus 1 If you put here minus 1, you can see the denominator becomes 0. The denominator becomes 0. And the result will be undefined. So we avoid here such values as domain for which denominator becomes 0. So what will be our domain? Our domain of function will be all real numbers except minus 1. All real numbers except minus 1. And in order to find the range of the function, there is a working involved in rational expression. Especially in order to find the range of the function, we can take it equal to y. It does not matter, you can take it equal to z, any variable you can use. Just simplify a bit, you can get after factorization x plus 2 x plus 1 over x plus 1, x plus 1 x plus 1 cancel, you will get value x plus 2. Now you can see we can put any values of x as domain from this number line, but we can't put minus 1 because for minus 1 the function becomes undefined. So for minus 1 you don't have any value of y. If you put minus 1, you will get value of y as plus 1. As minus 1 is not possible, so plus y is not possible to get as range. As minus 1 is not possible, it is not possible to get plus 1 as range. So your range will be all real numbers except plus 1. So this is a question I have solved for you. Hopefully you will be able to understand the concept of domain and range, and kindly try the other questions in exercise 1.1 and 1.2 yourself. If you have any problem, mention it in a comment box or send me a WhatsApp message. I will try to answer your problems. Thank you very much.